Good afternoon. Today is April 2nd. Welcome to the voting session of the Ways and Means Committee. We are going to start with Senate Bill 4, and there are amendments. Delegate Feldmark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 4 alters the composition, powers, and duties of the West North Avenue Development Authority and establishes that the authority is a body politic and corporate and an instrumentality of the state. The amendments conform the bill to its cross-file House Bill 258. Move the amendments.
Second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The amendment's passed. Motion on the bill is amended.
Move favorable. Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the bill as amended signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Senate Bill 4 passes favorably as amended. Senate Bill 93, and there are amendments. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 93, Election Law Absentee Ballots Notice to Request Application. This bill requires that each local board of elections include a notice about how to request an absentee ballot application with the specimen or sample ballots and any other mailings to voters or eligible voters. I want to mention to the committee that this bill has changed dramatically since its introduction. So to be clear, the sample ballots already go out. Those are the ballots that are already mailed out. This just makes sure that as part of that mailing, that there's information included about requesting an absentee ballot application. So this is not the actual sending of those applications. The amendments to the bill are technical. I move the subcommittee amendments.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments?
About the amendments or not, but I certainly won't do it twice.
Okay.
Does the notice that go out provide you notice of how to sign up to be an absentee voter for that election cycle, or does it include information of how to get on, I think we call it the permanent absentee, the permanent mail-in list?
I think it would be both, because right now, when you request an absentee ballot, there's a little checkbox.
To say I want to do it permanently.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So it would be both.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the amendments pass. Is there a motion on the bill as amended?
Move favorable as amended.
Okay, discussion on the bill? Okay, we are going to do a roll call on the favorable as amended. Senate Bill 93, the Vice Chair.
Yes.
Delegate Ebersol? Yes. Delegate Patterson?
Yes.
Delegate Buckle? No. Delegate Fair?
Yes.
Delegate Hornberger?
Yes.
Delegate Long? No. Delegate Young? Delegate Miller? No. Delegate Roberson? Delegate Roberts? Yes. Delegate Wims? Yes. Delegate Vogel? Yes. Delegate Wu? Yes. Delegate Hartman? No. Delegate Miracle North? Yes. Delegate Griffith? No. Delegate Wells?
Aye.
Delegate Plakovich-Carr? Yes. Delegate Feldmark?
Yes.
Senate Bill 93 passes favorably as amended. Senate Bill 201, and there are amendments. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 201, Election Law Absentee Ballot Application, sending to eligible voters before primary elections. The amendments to this bill conform it to the previous bill that we just voted on. The amendments basically make the bills the same. I move the subcommittee amendments.
And I think I said Senate Bill 201, so House Bill 201. Any discussion on the amendments? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the amendment's passed. Motion on the bill is amended.
Move favorably as amended.
Any discussion? Okay, we'll do a roll call on the favorable of House Bill 201 as amended. Vice Chair?
Aye. Yes.
Delegate Ebersol?
Aye.
Delegate Patterson? Delegate Buckle? Isn't that like nay? No, yeah, I don't know. Delegate Fair?
Yes.
Delegate Hornberger?
Yes.
Delegate Long? Delegate Young? Yes. Delegate Young is a me too. Delegate Miller? No. Delegate Roberson? Delegate Roberts? Yes. Delegate Wims? Yes. Okay. Delegate Vogel?
Yes.
Delegate Wu?
Yes.
Delegate Hartman? Delegate Miracle North? Delegate Griffith? Delegate Wells?
Yes, me too.
Okay. Delegate Plakovich Carr?
Yes.
Delegate Feldmark?
Yes.
Okay, House Bill 201 passes favorably as amended. Senate Bill 130, and there are amendments. Delegate Ebersol.
Madam Chair, as amended, this bill requires each local school board of education develop and adopt a policy on the use of electronic devices. Policy must include a limitation on the use of smartphone or device connected to a smartphone during the instructional time. Policy developed in accordance with this bill must be published on the website of each local school board of education and each public school student handbook. The policy may not prohibit a student from using a smartphone or device connected to a smartphone for limited important purposes. The amendments will put the bill in the same posture as our very own Delegate Wu's House Bill 147 as it passed the House. Move the amendments.
Okay. Any discussion on the amendments? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion on the bill is amended.
Delegate Wu, would you like to take the honors?
Yes, move was amended.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Senate Bill 130 passes favorably as amended. Senate Bill 204, Delegate Wells.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the amendments authorize the city to impose the regular property tax rate and the existing special tax rate for vacant and abandoned property on nonprofit-owned property that is, I'm reading the wrong one.
I was
Okay,
like,
okay. Thank you, no worries.
Yeah.
The bill, thank you. The bill requires counties and municipalities to set the property tax rate annually before June 20th instead of July 1. Move the amendment.
Okay, any discussion? Okay.
Move the bill as amended. Oh, wait, no, we have to vote, sorry.
You're on 204.
Yeah.
There's a,
Oh, there's
Yeah, there
not,
are no
sorry. My
amendments.
bad. My brain is scrambled. You're right.
okay.
Thank you.
All in favor of the bill, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, opposed? All right, Senate Bill 204 passes favorably. Okay, Senate Bill 259, and there are amendments. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 259, Election Law, Local Boards of Elections, Election Plan Requirements. This bill requires local board of elections to submit a consolidated election plan to the state board for approval that includes proposed early voting centers, polling places, and ballot drop box locations. The bill makes changes to our existing election plan requirements, and there are amendments. The amendments require that a local board of elections in the first election after redistricting ensures that the polling place information, to submit information if its polling place plan will reduce the number of polling places, establishes procedures for public notice and comment when a local board adopts an election plan, and requires the Attorney General rather than the state administrator to review and approve ballot drop box locations. I want to point out an amendment, a bipartisan amendment from our good friend Delegate Miller that also changes requirements around locations to ensure geographic diversity as well. I move the amendments to Senate Bill 259.
Okay, any discussion?
It's about the amendments, but I won't double dip. Did you say there was an amendment or a provision of the bill that now says the Attorney General is the enforcement or review authority for drop boxes rather than the State Board of Elections or the SBE Administrator?
Yes, correct.
Okay, was that in the original bill, or is that something that we did in committee with it through amendment?
It was not in the original bill.
Okay, that may change my vote on it, but I appreciate you clarifying that. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on the amendments? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the amendments pass. Motion on the bill as amended. Any discussion? Okay, let's do a roll call on the favorable as amended, Senate Bill 259. The Vice Chair?
Yes.
Delegate Ebersol? Yes. Delegate Patterson? Yes. Delegate Buckle?
No, for the reasons just announced.
Delegate Fair?
Yes.
Delegate Hornberger? Delegate Long? Delegate Young? Delegate Miller? Delegate Roberson? Delegate Roberts? Delegate Wims? Delegate Vogel? Delegate Wu? Delegate Hartman? Delegate Miracle North? Delegate Griffith? Delegate Wells? Delegate Plavkovich Carr? Delegate Feldmark?
Yes.
Senate Bill 259 passes favorably as amended. Senate Bill 295, and there are amendments. Delegate Feldmark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 295 establishes an income tax reconciliation program administered by the comptroller to allow justice-involved individuals who are unable to file a state income tax return while incarcerated to establish installment payment plans and receive a waiver of accrued interest and penalties for tax years 2025 through 2029. The amendments conform the bill to its cross-file, House Bill 634. Move the amendments.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, is there a motion on the bill as amended? Move favorable. Okay, any discussion? Okay, roll call on Senate Bill 295 as amended on the favorable, the Vice Chair.
Yes.
Delegate Ebersol.
Yes.
Delegate Patterson.
Yes.
Delegate Buckle. No. Delegate Fair. Yes. Delegate Hornberger. Yes. Delegate Long. No. Delegate Young. Aye. Delegate Miller. No. Delegate Roberson. Delegate Roberts. Yes. Delegate Wims. Yes. Delegate Vogel. Yes. Delegate Wu. Yes. Delegate Hartman. Delegate Muirkey North. Yes. Delegate Griffith. Delegate Wells. Yes. Delegate Plavkovich Carr. Yes. Delegate Feldmark.
Yes.
Senate Bill 295 passes favorably as amended. Senate Bill 310, Delegate Plavkovich Carr? Is it you? Yep. Okay. Delegate Ebersol.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill expands educational programs authorized under the Youth Suicide Prevention School Program to include classroom instruction designed to increase pupils' awareness of the relationship between gambling, problem gambling, and youth suicide. Move the bill favorable.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Senate Bill 310 passes favorably. Senate Bill 341, and there are amendments. Delegate Wells. No. Delegate Patterson. Oh, I'm sorry. Delegate Patterson, you're right.
No problem. Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 341 authorizes an organization located in Baltimore City that is affiliated with a professional Major League Baseball team that plays its home games in Baltimore City to conduct raffles. The amendment makes a technical correction. Move the amendment.
Okay, any discussion on the amendment? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, amendment passes. Motion on the bill is amended. Okay, any discussion? Delegate Long?
Just wanted to make sure, that raffle money is going to be targeted towards remodeling or, well, and around the stadium. Is that correct? I thought that's what the bill originally
It's
came
for
in.
charities.
The proceeds are for charitable purposes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I thought at one time they come in and was going to do for rehabs or stuff. Okay,
No, sir.
thanks. That's it.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of Senate Bill 341 as amended signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Senate Bill 341 passes favorably as amended. Senate Bill 361, and there are amendments. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As this bill came in, it actually prohibits the use of fraud to influence a voter's decision, including through the use of deepfakes. The amendments to the bill prohibit a person from, with fraudulent intent, influencing or attempting to influence a voter's decision, whether or not to cast a vote or whether to vote for or against a candidate or a ballot issue by disseminating a deepfake. So just to put that into regular English, is that we changed the bill for it to focus on the issue of deepfakes specifically, and it makes it so that there is a place in our code that specifically prohibits a person from utilizing AI or other methods with fraudulent intent to influence or attempt to influence whether or not someone votes or what candidate they vote for. I move the subcommittee amendments.
Okay, any discussion? Delegate Buckle.
And so if I may, so then that, based upon what Delegate Wilkins just said, the other parts of the bill that related to other types of advertising or electioneering, that stuff has been removed. And the gravamen of the bill now is these technological deepfakes, whether they be online, television, video, audio, whatever. Those things are now going to be expressly prohibited if done with a fraudulent intent to attempt to influence the election. Is that basically all of the bill is now construed?
So the fraudulent intent piece is the key piece here.
Right.
So yes, the only way that the bill addresses social media and the other things that you mentioned is that it makes it so that they're not liable when it comes to those pieces. This is about,
operators.
right, the operators
The person
are
who would
not.
disseminate it or create it could be, but not the platform, so to speak.
Right, exactly. And the bill also exempts satire and parody, and newspapers and media.
Right, like opinion, editorial type stuff.
Right.
That could be satirical.
Right, but I will defer to the council in case there's anything else to add on that.
I have nothing to add.
I think you won my vote. Thank you. I appreciate that. That sounds good.
Delegate Hornberger.
Yeah, so what if the candidate themselves wants to utilize this to perpetuate their campaign? So for example, I'm going to make a video using AI of me and the president, walking down Main Street to help my candidacy.
If a candidate wants to do that to themselves and it's fraudulent intent there, then I think what would happen is, first of all, someone would have to feel really strongly about it to report it. Probably the candidate themselves is not doing that, but perhaps that would be reported. But I think that the standard that we have here is that you have fraudulent intent, that you're trying to influence someone by using a deep fake. And I think in that scenario, someone would have to report it. We know that when it comes to fraud and these types of situations, anyone can report anything to the state prosecutor. So it would have to go through that process if someone reported it. But again, I want to see if council has anything else to add.
I agree with everything you said.
Wow, I'm doing well today.
So let me just ask it in a different way. If I think identifying with the president will help my candidacy, and I Photoshop some images together, or I create a video of me doing something with the president, and somebody raises a hand and said, hey, you're obviously not hanging out with the president there, that's fraudulent, that could be prosecuted?
Yes, so someone would have to report it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And I think the reason this bill is important is because right now there isn't anything specific in our code around deepfake.
Sure.
So right now it would be a bit tougher to address that.
Okay, and then the
Or-
last
Or if I
question.
see that, I'm reporting it, so I'll look out
Yep.
for it, Delegate Hornberger.
The last question, and I brought this up during the testimony that we had when the bill was presented, is there does exist software currently, whereas I can record an hour of my voice in the way that I speak, and then that program can basically create videos for me in my likeness. So it's myself. Well, it is, because I'm then creating a video based on my voice and what I do. It may be my message, but I have the ability to quickly create videos and disseminate them without me creating the video. It could be a cartoon, a caricature of myself. It's clearly not me. It's an avatar, for example. And then someone claims that as fraud, it goes through the review process. Okay, I'm just,
So Delegate, that doesn't sound like fraud or fraudulent intent to
Okay.
me, so I don't think that would rise to the level. But we can go through a lot of scenarios, and I know it's important to talk these through to make sure we're not missing anything. But what I would suggest is that currently, any of us can go to the prosecutor's website and submit anything that we
Correct.
find wrong. And so when it comes to these types of scenarios, our prosecutor is sort of the referee
the goalie, okay.
on what is, fraudulent and wrong and what is not. But I don't believe from the definition of this bill and fraudulent intent, what you've outlined, that would rise to that level.
Okay, thank you.
Delegate Young.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I too am very concerned from the First Amendment perspective as it pertains to the definition of fraud. The definition of fraud under the bill is defined as includes the use of synthetic media. Synthetic media is defined as an image or audio or video recording that has been intentionally created or manipulated with AI or other digital tech to create a realistic or false image, audio, or video recording, one, purporting to depict a real or clearly identified candidate or speech or conduct of that candidate. So under this definition, it doesn't speak to intent. It's specifically, well, rather the intent is to create or manipulate. So fraud is defined as the use of synthetic media. Synthetic media is created intentionally with AI, and if I use it to depict a real candidate, then I violated the statute under this bill.
So Delegate, I'm glad you pointed that out. That was the bill as it came in. If you look at the reprint in our vote packet, we've completely changed the bill.
Hold on.
This bill is no longer about fraud. In the original version of the bill is what you were referencing.
Okay.
This bill is not defining fraud anymore. The bill defines what a deep fake is, and it prohibits, with fraudulent intent, someone from influencing an election or who to vote for by using a deep fake.
Let me catch up for a second. I'm looking at the wrong one. And thank you for correcting me, Vice Chair.
You got it.
What's this bill number 361?
Yeah.
I'm almost there. I'm just scrolling down at this point. Thank you, brother.
So the definition that you're referencing is not in this version of the bill.
No. I see that very clearly, and I appreciate your correction. Is there any way I could just take a moment to read this, and then we come back to it? I'll be done by the time we get to the end of the calendar.
Madam Chair.
Okay, so we are going to just hold 361 to the end of the calendar, and we'll come back to that for a vote.
I got it now.
And 525, we will hold as well, because that is the same bill. So moving on to Senate Bill 451, and there are amendments. Delegate Ebersol.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bill requires the Maryland Department of Labor to allow an individual to choose to take all components of the high school diploma by examination, the GED, in either English or Spanish. The amendment clarifies that an individual may choose to take all the components of the GED in either English or Spanish, and it puts the bill in the same posture as a House Cross File 325 by our own Delegate Wims. I move the amendments.
Any discussion on the amendments? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the amendment passed. Motion on the, well, there was one opposed to the amendments. Delegate Miller? Oh, well, okay. You want to say something? You just opposed. Okay, she's opposed. Motion on the bill is amended.
Take it away, Delegate. It's you.
Can you just reiterate who the House sponsor was?
Let me think. Hold on, I've got it written here somewhere. Let me look and see. Wims.
I have some concerns, but I'll move favorable.
Wims is the name, perhaps. Would you like to make a motion on the bill, sir?
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on the bill
I wanted Wims to move.
as amended? Okay, we'll do a roll call on the favorable as amended. The Vice Chair?
Yes.
Delegate Ebersol?
Yes.
Delegate Patterson?
Yes.
Delegate Buckle?
Yes.
Delegate Fair?
Yes.
Delegate Hornberger?
Yes.
Delegate Long? Delegate Young? Delegate Miller? Delegate Roberson? Delegate Roberts? Delegate Wims? Delegate Vogel? Delegate Wu? Delegate Hartman? Delegate Miracle North? Delegate Griffith? Delegate Wells? Delegate Plakovich Carr? Delegate Feldmark? Okay, Senate Bill 451 passes favorably as amended. Senate Bill 601, and there are amendments. Delegate Ebersol.
As amended, this bill, thank you, Madam Chair. As amended, this bill requires local school systems to allow a dependent child of a service member to apply for advanced enrollment in a public school and specifies requirements for advanced enrollment procedures. The amendments slightly modify the process through which a parent of a child with a disability uses advanced enrollment to allow a dependent child of that service member to remain enrolled in the finish of the school year, even if the residency requirements change. With the amendment, this bill is in a similar, slightly different posture than the cross-file of HB 596, again, by our own Delegate Patterson, as it passed the House. Move the amendments.
Okay, discussion on the amendments. Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion on the bill is amended.
Move favorable.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Senate Bill 601 passes favorably as amended. Going back to Senate Bill 361. Delegate Young.
So I've digested it. I still see a concern. It is not a deep concern. I do think there's a concern that I have with regard to whether a fact is material to a voter's decision and how is that defined. But that is a minor concern. And I think with the remainder of the criteria to fall in conflict with this statute, it's a high bar to cross. So I'm gonna be fine. Thank you. Thank you for the indulgence.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, the motion was for a favorable on 361 as amended. We will do a quick roll call. On the favorable, the vice chair.
Yes.
Delegate Ebersol.
Still yes.
Delegate Patterson.
Yes.
Delegate Buckle.
Yes.
Delegate Fair.
Yes.
Delegate Hornberger. Delegate Long. Delegate Young. Delegate Miller. Delegate Roberson. Delegate Roberts. Delegate Wims. Delegate Vogel. Delegate Wu. Delegate Hartman. Delegate Miracle North. Delegate Griffith. Delegate Wells. Delegate Plakovich Carr. Delegate Feldmark. Senate Bill 361 passes favorably as amended. Okay, House Bill 525 as amended. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 525 is the cross-file of Senate Bill 361. The amendments put the bill in the same posture of Senate Bill 361. I move the subcommittee amendments.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the amendment's passed. Motion on the bill is amended. Okay. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay and raise your hand. Opposed, Delegate Long. And House Bill 525 passes favorably as amended. If you would like to me too on the House bill we just passed, please raise your hand. We have the Vice Chair, Delegate Roberts, Delegate Wims, Delegate Plakovich Carr. Griffith, was your hand up? The one we just did, 525. Okay. Folks, I'm gonna call it out. If you wanna be a me too, your hand is up. The Vice Chair, Delegate Ebersol, Delegate Patterson, Delegate Fair, Delegate Young, Delegate Roberts, Delegate Wims, Delegate Vogel, Delegate Wells, Delegate Plakovich Carr. Okie dokie, that concludes our voting session. We will be voting tomorrow. I don't know what time, so please just pay attention on the House floor. I'll try to remember to put it in our chat, but we are going to be voting tomorrow. Subcommittee announcements, Delegate Ebersol.
Education Subcommittee, probably 90% sure after session tomorrow.
We will have 2 sessions tomorrow. Any other subcommittee announcements? Nope. Okay, thank you.